The O'Reilly Factor, the #1 cable news show for 13 years running.
Thanks for staying with us, Bill O'Reilly and the Unresolved Problem segment tonight. As we have been reporting over the last few weeks, there is an epidemic of violence and death all across the USA, disproportionately caused by young black men. On Sunday, September 1st, 20-year-old Jesus Torres was delivering a pizza in Newark for Domino's when he was shot dead by 4 youths. By all accounts, Jesus was a hard-working kid, and this tragedy is obviously outrageous. Also outrageous, the fact that very few people care. The story was underreported, and police in Newark, New Jersey are stonewalling the Factor's attempts to get information. We do know that 20-year-old Shaquille Fain has been charged with murder, along with two 70-year-olds and a 16-year-old. Fain has a record, drugs as usual, and believe me, when we find out about these four, you're going to see chaotic families behind the situations. But back to Jesus Torres. We asked Judge Pirro to talk with his mother.
He loved singing. He was very spiritual, very humble kid. He loved singing. He wanted to enforce, he wanted to become either a fireman, police officer, or for the Coast Guard. He just had a baby. The baby was a month old.
And that's why he was working to take care of the baby.
Yes, he actually went to Pizza Hut right after the baby was born and begged them with the wristband and begged them to give him a job. He just had a baby. He needs to take care of his son.
When you think about him, and you think about him being, such a responsible kid and someone with goals and ambitions, and you hear that there have been 4 individuals charged with his murder, and you compare them to him, a 20-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, and a 16-year-old. I mean, how does that make you feel that you're so responsible and they're thugs?
It's so many feelings, and I feel sad for the family because, in other words, they lost a child to the system, their family, they gotta go through their kid going in jail and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm hurt because at least they get to see their child. I don't get to hold my son. I don't get to kiss him at night. I don't get to hear him singing. I don't get to, him playing jokes on us, and I don't get that.
There are thousands of cases like that across the country. Here now is Judge Pirro. Now, the Newark Police Director, Samuel DeMayo, is not cooperating with us. They've been awful. I mean awful. And I deal with a lot of police agencies. This is one of the worst I've ever seen. They're stonewalling. They won't give us any information. We don't want rap sheets on juveniles. All we want to know is who they are, were they troublemakers, what their family situation was, to continue our reporting on this epidemic of mindless craziness that are taking the lives of people all around the country. And do you have any idea why this guy isn't cooperating with us?
The only thing that I can think, Bill, is once you open Pandora's box, then this police superintendent is going to have to answer questions about the number of cases that have been closed, the number of arrests, the number of federal gun crimes that have been solved. And I suspect that once you start looking at this inner city murder rate, violent crime rate, you're going to see that there are not a lot of law enforcement efforts being devoted to this area. There are not a lot of cases that are being closed, and that's why you're not going to get information.
So you're saying that he'd be embarrassed to tell us?
Yeah, it's like Chicago,
Well, Newark isn't quite as bad as Chicago.
It will be.
It might be. But in order to solve the problem, all the police agencies have to cooperate with the press and get out the message that it's almost always chaotic families, no father there. This guy, Fain, who was charged, a drug addict, long sheet, they keep putting him out on the street because, as you know, drugs, victimless crime. Oh, we have to feel sorry for this guy. So he's running around with a gun, and he shoots Jesus, and he kills him because he wants the pizza money. And you know what? I'm sick of it. And the press ignores it. New York City News doesn't cover Newark crime. The Star Ledger in New Jersey is covering it. They're the only ones covering it. And this guy DeMayo, the police director, thinks he can get away with rope-a-doping, and then everybody will forget about it. It's a disgrace. DeMayo should resign tomorrow. He doesn't care about Jesus, and he doesn't care about solving the problem, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, you can come on this program and tell me I'm going to face I'm wrong.
Well, at the end of the day, what you've got is a guy who is now saying that I don't have enough cops on the street.
Oh,
But
well,
if you,
you know what I
I
mean?
guarantee that's what the
We're
man
trying
is
to help
hotwash. I
this
was in
guy.
law enforcement for 30 years.
Right.
Here's the bottom line. You got your confidential informants, your search warrants, your surveillance, your wiretap. Do your job, and then you won't have to be afraid
I
of
don't
not
blame the
answering
police for
questions.
this crime. I don't think the police could have solved it or stopped it because there's just too many of them. But I blame the police for not joining with us and other responsible press in highlighting the problem. This is the problem. The dissolution of the family. They have no supervision. They're running wild, and we can't stop it. Be honest about it, and maybe we can deal with it.
I agree.
Judge, thanks for doing the interview, and our, our Torres family,
Oh,
our prayers,
lovely
lovely
lady.
woman, our prayers go out to them.
Yep.
On that, did you see that? The left still pounding the president over Syria. And then the fact that tip of the day, a sneak peek at the upcoming movie